Welcome back, everybody. This is Dren 608. This is another in the Unconditional Surrender solo playthrough using the Board Game Arena module. We are pursuing the CUCU strategy line, which stands for Cripple UK and Collapse the USSR, which I have done both. The Allies are trying to make a comeback here. I will say about this particular playthrough, I didn't play as well with the Germans as I probably should have, but I've been compensated by having ridiculously bad weather on the Soviet front when they came back in. I think I've had 4 severe turns, maybe. It's been severe in the east for a very long time, which means the Soviets haven't been able to do much. We're now going to be poor in the east and poor in the cold zone and in the mild zone. So maybe a little bit more will happen, and of course it's fair in the Mediterranean along with the desert areas, so maybe the Western Allies can sort of wrap this up so they can actually get off a semi-coherent invasion of France. That's the plan anyway. Like I said, I'm Dren608. If you like what you see, hit the thumbs up button. You really like what you see, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notify button. You'll be notified when I schedule another stream and when I upload videos. What else do I need to go through? I think that's it. So we can just go ahead and get started. We're starting off with we all just kind of said, no, we're not going to declare war, so we're right at the transfer production points here. Looking at my allies that only have one, the Finns, it's poor weather. I think they can get by with just one. I have 40 with the Germans, so I'm not afraid to give things away. I'm definitely going to give one to the Italians because they're the ones under pressure. The Spaniards are down one, but I don't see me having to do a lot of movement there. The Yugoslavs, I might have to do some fancy moves here with the Yugoslavs to try and back up my line. The Soviets have slowly but surely been breaking across this partition line. They've made hexes in those severe weather turns, but they haven't, quote unquote, broken through. But they're in a much better position than I would like as the axis here. So I think I'll give one to the Yugoslavs. The Turks are under a lot of pressure, so I'm going to give them one. And again, the Romanians are the ones running around in the east, so I think I'll give... Do I give them another one? Just in case I think I need it, because I really don't need all those production points. Okay. I do have my surprise attack marker and my airdrop marker in my pocket and my heavy artillery, so I can possibly try and correct some things here. We'll see how this goes. Okay, that's the Germans. Soviets have one partisan in their pocket, and we're going to go over here and check what's coming in next turn. See, I don't see my other partisans until August, and I want to make sure I have a partisans for fair weather. The early fair weather turns to try and force a breakthrough, and then I'll have another partisans to maybe exploit a second breakthrough in August. So I'm not going to use mine here. The Germans are only at 1 lost factory, so they're not going to use their submarines here. This is a strategic decision on both parts. The partisans is more useful to the Soviets on the ground at this point in the summer, and we haven't made any inroads anyway on the Germans, so I don't think it's going to matter. So we're going to go ahead, and the Germans, there's no reason to use your submarines at this point. What you're trying to use your submarines for is to mitigate losses of factories. During the summer of 41, I'm not going to see my other submarines for sure until September, so it'll matter when I roll for this one, how soon he'll come back. So I might have 3 turns where I wouldn't have him at all if I used him now, so I'm going to hang on to him. And nothing happened. We both did not lose the factory. Now over here, the Allies are at 2 lost factories. The Germans are at 1. like I said, at this point, the Germans are just trying to hang on till July of 1945. So this is a waiting game, delay, delay, delay. And the best way to do that is have a lot of production points. If I use it now, yeah, maybe I'll chip another factory off of them, but why? I'm still at a net +1 ahead of them. If they use their Ultra, yeah, I might lose a factory, but then I'll be down to, oh dear, 38 production points. I don't think I need to use the submarines here. On the Allied side, they have to think about this because the Ultra is very versatile. It could be used in a ground combat. And it might be needed when I do my invasion of France. Again, we need to go look and see what we're getting next turn. Get this out of the way. What are we getting next turn? Next turn we're getting our partisans and free forces. We won't see our Ultra till August. So I guess the hope here is to not so much chip a German factory, but get one of ours back. Am I going to need that Ultra next turn? That's the question that you have to ask yourself. Do I need the Ultra to get an extra +1 on some combat next turn? Because I won't see the other one for a while. I'll get a +1 from free forces. I'll have my airdrop, or my partisans, to make somebody go, some defender be -2 on the invasion of France. He does have a couple panzers here and a whole lot of air to counter me. So I don't think the invasion of France would go off very well. Because I do not have any British armies coming across out of England, and you really need to have a mix of them so that you can make the most of the British Air Force. Yeah, I've kind of misplayed the Allies here a bit too. Got a little too focused in the Mediterranean and my recapture of Suez, and by the time I get done mucking about there, most of the summer of 44 will be gone. This is a decision I really don't like to make, but I'm going to take a chance and go ahead and use the Ultra to try and get myself to maximum production points for the UK. So we use the Ultra. The Germans won't use theirs, and so we did chip a German factory, and we got ourselves back to full. So that's what I wanted to see. Now, unfortunately, we have to go over here and see how long is it going to take. And of course, my Ultra is delayed 6 turns, so I won't see it until late in the fall. Like November or something like that, right? Yeah, it's not coming back till November. So that was a definite boon for the Germans. They're going to get another factory in August and in December. So me chipping them one here is really not going to hurt them. Yeah, we're going to have a very hard chance trying to even get the Axis out of the game here. Okay, strategic movement for the Germans. I was going to do something. The heck was it I was planning on doing? Oh, that's right. I was thinking I should... possibly just delay, delay, delay? What was I going to do? Oh, I think I was going to move... Yeah. Well, I still can. I looked around in the east. I didn't really see a strategic movement in the east, but this down here in the Med, this is getting a little dicey here. Because the Second Army is like threatening of just running up and grabbing Mersin. So I was thinking I should put this Turkish First Army in his way. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, so he couldn't be able to attack Mersin. So I'm thinking I'm just going to put him on this side of Aleppo. Reason being, if I get a retreat, I can retreat like into these mountain bastion hexes, I like to call them, where there's a mountain ridge on each side and rough in between, so that's a -2 to come into that hex. And it guards my rail line. If he wants to use surprise attack markers, he doesn't have anybody on a port right now. But if he sets himself up for an invasion to go after Ankara or or what is it, Antalya or Smyrna. There isn't a lot I can do about it because I do need to keep just one guy here to slow down his reconquest of Basra, because that's a +2 on our strategic warfare against the Soviets. So yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Now the West, so Baghdad is actually German held. So he'll be able to stay in limited supply even if I go up there. 2, 3, 4, 5. And he's not going to pull out of Basra, or if he does, I don't care. I sometimes think that doing what I did here, this was too much because I was still holding on to Morocco. To have all 3 British armies committed into the Mediterranean right now is too much, because they can't really threaten a whole lot. So I have 4 out of my, 9 armies are in the Mediterranean, along with 3 of my 6 fighter aircraft. That's not good for me. Well, we will go ahead and do this. We'll go ahead and slide him up to where Baghdad is this turn. I mean, he could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which would put me out of supply next turn. Yeah, maybe I'll stop here. Yeah, he could go over here. That's an interesting problem. No, I think I'll stay next to Baghdad. It forces him to either let this guy go to a limited supply, or he's got to move back here to get on the other side of Baghdad, which would leave me a place to go. If he goes into here, it'll be a limited supply. I can go to Baghdad, and then he'll wither on the vine, so to speak. So I think that's where I'll go. Soviets. You know, there isn't a lot of rail movement I can do. Everybody's pretty much at the front and holding their ground. Yeah, I'm kind of stuck. So they're not going to have one. I don't see one for them. So we're done. So the Germans. They do want to save a bunch of points for aircraft for the West, because they want to keep those as low sorties as possible to counterattack any invasion. And they also want to be able to have them at low counters so that when the German army does break over here, that they will be able to shift the aircraft over to the east. Right now, a part of me wants this armor to run so far away. I really want that armored back in Europe, but I'm not going to get there. Italians. What are we going to do? We could just try and hold out here for May. It's going to be fair, so if I go into Tunis, you could try and just go around me and fly to Gabes and get a shot there. Because this airplane doesn't reach the Gabes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if I put the Italian Air Force here, would defend in Tripoli. The Italians have something to build? No, the Turks have something to build. know how to defend this. I'm trying to keep the Italians just sort of in the war and annoying to the British. I do have a lot of willpower. So I really don't want to lose these infantry. Well, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see, I won't be isolated there. So I guess we'll just try and hold on. Like I said, I'm trying to delay them in the Middle East. Can't really afford to bring any more troops over here because I'm barely keeping what I've got here in supply. Because Med Fleet is nasty. I think that I will. I mean, he could come across giving up North Africa and just come like straight into Sicily, but then I would cut off. He can't really give me North Africa. So yeah, I think I can afford to put this airplane here for the future. It does make me susceptible. If he throws a surprise attack marker, I can get, you know, this can be blown up by aircraft carriers. But it makes him have to do that if he's going to go take Tripoli, or he's got to bring aircraft to counter the Italian air defending it. I don't know if that's a good move or not. We'll just try it and see what happens. What's up next? Oh yes, this little nonsense. So, 4th Luft is going to hit Bomber Command. I do have jets now. Then it's going to hit Bomber Command again because it's at 4 sorties, so we're going to make it stay at 6 sorties. This is economic warfare in another light. It cost me 3 to get those 2 sorties back for that guy in Paris. It cost him 4 to get the 2 sorties back on Bomber Command. Since he doesn't have any British troops to go landing up here in England right now, except some garrisons, his fighter command is really kind of useless. He's got 1 American fighter here, the other one's in North Africa. He has another American fighter coming, along with another armored unit. So he might be able to get, 2 American aircraft and 3 Americans onto the continent if he used all 3 surprise attack markers. Or maybe 2 by capturing a port and moving out or something, whatever. He can figure out a way to do that. So 3 American guys with 2 fighter aircraft and maybe a couple of bombers to support them. The bombers are at low sortie, so they'll be easily turned back or made to be limited. And I have 3 almost full strength fighters right here. I have 1 that is 1 sortie and 2 with this. So they can defend against the American bombers coming in and still be at full sorties to be able to fly into France and overwhelm the American Air Force as they try to take out whatever invasion hexes they choose to make. I probably will try to do that just to show you how the Germans would try to counter it. Good lesson. It's probably not the right thing to do with the Western Allies. The right thing to do with the Western Allies would be to set all these guys up, go into Norway, spend the summer running through Norway, since Sweden's not in, and descend on Denmark at the end of the year, so that come the summer of 45, you'll be invading the northern German coast and or the Low Countries or something like that. Because the Germans can't just totally abandon France. Reason being is because even a garrison can like land and take an empty port and start moving inland, and then you can just shift troops wherever you need to go. So they kind of have to leave at least their garrisons over there, which, you know, it's fine. The real thing is if the Soviet Union armies here can somehow force some kind of breakthrough, that's going to be the telling blow, so to speak. I don't know that I can. I mean, I'm getting close to pushing through a breakthrough here. Across the upper Dnieper and the lower Duna. But we're not to the lower Dnieper yet. I do have a chance to take out Kharkov and get myself back a factory. Possibly push this armored back. As the Germans are trying to figure out what I need to do. Not a lot I need to really do with the Germans. Okay, so I will go to limited supply this turn. Next turn, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and can't attack me, and then I fall off. See, that would be June. Then he gets this in July. Recaptures these guys in July. Do I need the pluses from July onward? He's got nothing lined up to do an invasion, so that would take him June to set up and July to invade in August. So I think I'm going to go ahead and move this Turk up to there. I'm not going to attack him, obviously. I'm going to put him there because that keeps me in limited supply, so I'm -4. June might be poor down here, so you only get an assault, which means he couldn't like break through and run down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can't take these things in June no matter what I do. And we might just get a 6-1 split in my favor, and then it might be July before he can, or August before he can take them. Can't really defend him because I don't have any support from the Germans or the Italians. And I do want to kind of keep the Turks in the war just to threaten to run back down through all these cities if the British don't do something about it. So I'm tying up real British armies with Turkish armies. I'm tying up a British army over here with Spanish and German armies. And I'm tying up an American army with Italian armies. The only real sacrifice I'm making is this one, the 2nd Panzer against the 8th Army. And again, they can't just abandon it because then I just get back on my strategic warfare bonuses. So, and there's like 2 factories here. That's the biggest thing, is that's 4 more production points a turn. I mean, the British are up to 34 this turn. They'll be at 36 next. So those production points are important. The problem is I don't have a lot of good uses for them because I'm out of position. All right, so that's pretty much, I think that's the Middle East. I'm going to build a garrison probably in Smyrna because this is a constricted access way out. And if he uses a surprise attack marker somehow to get into here, then I can just move over and cover it. Right? Where's the Russian convoy? I think I put up here, right? So I don't have to worry about invasions there. So I could do 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and just do that with another Turkish point, and then that leaves me 2 points to flip over this guy and probably this guy if he gets flipped. Okay, that's done with the Turks. The Spaniards, what do we got to do with Spain? We're holding the important port for strategic warfare. We're limiting a breakthrough here. He wants to try and end run me. He has to go all the way to Barcelona. And then he's up against it because Vichy's not in the war. So he can't really go anywhere from Barcelona except down through terrible terrain, which I can deal with. So I'm okay there. Yeah, I think I'm okay there. I suppose he could bring this one British army back up here and then try and do some sort of shuffle of the Gibraltar unit down to Morocco to make me have to roll dice coming across the strait. Oh, that's the other thing I want to do. I want to make sure his British Air Force stays here. So we're just going to... Oh, I got him with one shot. That gets me even further ahead on the sortie countdown on the Med. Don't have anything to counter this aircraft. That's the way it goes. Yeah, we're kind of stuck here. Okay. Looks like somebody's watching it, but nobody's commenting, so thank you for watching what you are watching. I'm really kind of don't see anything else to do in the Mediterranean. Greece is not in the war. So later he's going to get to there, so I guess I should... No, I don't want to waste Yugoslav. I only have 3 points for the Yugoslavs, and I think I have to do something with them in the east. Because in poor weather, them being on the front line is probably not a good idea. So we're going to try and back up the Dnieper so I have somewhere for the Germans to retreat to next turn. In case I get fair weather, I want to be much straighter lines. I am coming up short ground units here. Do I want this Italian to stay there? I think so. This German is kind of like my backup. I think I kind of have to stay where I'm at. There's not much better ground there, so I only need 1 point left for the Yugoslavs. Romanians, he's going to stay there. There's no threat of invasion here. Yeah, I don't see any moves. I don't see any moves with the Germans that I need to make. Oh, there's one for next turn. 1, 2, 3. Maybe put this guy in Paris. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No. Yeah, I need to move him down a little bit. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. am I supposed to go? I don't think I want to go all the way to Paris. I think I'm going to put him here. Hello, move. And I think I'm going to put this armored unit a little bit further south so I can... Not sure where he's going to go, but I'm not going to rail that armored unit anywhere. This one I can rail to emergency spots. This guy's got to be here to try and contain any invasion. Alright. So I'm down to 32. Even if I have to use all my stuff, that's 24. That leaves me 8 points for reduced guys and to build the para, which I have no idea where I'm going to build it. Gut reaction is you build it in the west, but I think I'm actually going to have to build it in the east, so that's what I need to do. Vezlov can get to there. So he's going to go sit in some good terrain. Maybe next turn when I'm dealing with fair weather, I might have to shift the line south by one set of units, especially if I put the para drop over here at Königsberg, or the para infantry unit, because he's as good as the Russian armory when he's full strength. Okay, that's going to be the German turn. Not much of anything. I'm going to leave the voluntary thing on there. I am going to skip declaration of war because I'm not interested in starting any new wars. Supply everybody without stuff. Okay. Now, what happens if I try to supply everybody? He has +5. He has +0s. No, that's not going to work. Yeah, he's got to be limited supply of Baghdad because I don't have a choice. So just get that one out of the way. He's got to go limited supply in Ankara because he doesn't have a choice. Get that out of the way. Same thing with this guy at Helsinki. Get that out of the way. Right. So we want the armored unit to stay in supply. And the 2 infantry units. Do I want to try and keep 1, 2, 3? So should I try to keep the garrison in supply? Using this other convoy. So we're just going to use that convoy. Oh no, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. We're going to do this funny. I'm going to trace to here and use that convoy. Go ahead and naval escort because heck, why not? And the British have enough points that they'll go ahead and try and intercept him once. Here. Commit. I'm not going to commit my subs to this. And they got through. So the Med Fleet missed. Yay. Alright, now this fleet by itself will just go and try and supply itself. I'm not going to do that so I can get down to 0, so no. He's supplying himself, let him go. And now I'm going to take all these guys, the armored unit and these guys are all going to go to full supply. Where's this guy? Who do I have not in supply? I have somebody in East Front not in supply. Oh, that's why I needed to do what I was going to do. I was going to shove this Yugoslav in here. Oh, that was a big, big mistake. And I can't go back because I've actually had a combat. So, dumb on my part. I needed to look when I first This is a strategy tip for everybody. When you first pull up that supply thing, look for every unit that says that it can't supply itself. Go find them on the map before you do anything in the supply phase. Find them on the map and see if they have a convoy. You know, if they're like sitting on an island or they're near a port or something and they're going to have to use a convoy. That's okay. But if you find one like this, then you're like, oh, undo the whole end of phase. I need to move a unit in a proper position. And that's what I meant to do, I think. When I looked at this a long time ago, I was going to take the Yugoslav that was kind of holding this spot, and I was just going to run him over here to keep him in supply for one more turn. Because I'm never going to get him out of Kharkov. He's going to die there. But by having the Yugoslav here, he would at least die at full supply. Now he's going to die at limited supply. So, all right, we just have to say we can't supply him. I'm not going to even try. Because I can't go back. I do not want to go up to 3 with these guys. So, what was it? Oh, I left this guy at low supply. Because it's poor weather. You know something? He doesn't really have anything lined up to invade me, so I think I can get away with sneaking in an extra sortie here by taking both of those guys to limited supply. So I'm not going to be able to supply my my Italians much longer in North Africa. I'm going to be down to 1 Italian, 1 German here in the summer pretty soon. So I may shift my defenses to Tripoli, leave the garrison, go sit in Tobruk, so he has to at least wait for me to fall out of supply permanently, and see if I can't get the German armored unit back to mainland. Yeah, that's my summer operations. Alright, let's supply all those. And run to the west. Okay. Yeah, well, I want to make sure that my supply lines are easily kept here. I'm going to move up here. That keeps them from railing anything around. And I can't get surrounded there, so I'm just going to set the 2nd Army there. And we're going to go ahead and try and see if we can push this armored unit of space. Nope, I didn't even get more than 1 attack. I stopped on the first die roll. The Americans have a problem. If they go and attack Tunis, this airplane can't reach. If they attack Tunis, these guys are all in supply. Then this thing can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just run past me. So attacking with just 1 army, I need like a garrison to hold my flank, and I don't have one. Because if I fail to take Tunis, then I have no way of like getting a fleet there to supply them next turn, and this guy can come running behind me. So, the question is, do I bother anymore? Or do I just get the American onto Algiers, fly the airplane, you know, off to the coast, and we're just going to get the heck out of Dodge? Algiers or Oran is the same as far as leaving French North Africa. I could even rail him all the way back to Casablanca and just try and get them out during the summer. Wow. he still has his tank marker with the Italians. So this isn't going to work. Best I'm going to be is +4 to +2. I can't move my airplane up to where I want it to be. Wow. Four, five, six, 7, 8, because you would just run all the way back there. 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, I'd get 1 attack. Otherwise it'd be in low supply. Well, in for a penny, in for a pound, I guess. Let's go here. See if we get lucky. We can't isolate him because he has a retreat route there. And Italians are going to go ahead and commit here because it's not fair weather in the east. It's 4 to +2. And got a no effect by rolling a 1. We'll attack him again without air, so we're +2 to 0. Commit, and no effect. So, yep, I'm in trouble. Okay, so now he can just rail this Italian up here if he wants. And then move this guy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into Gapes. Does leave him open to an invasion to Tripoli, but then he's got this stuff all isolated. Yeah, I probably should have had the airplane on this space. That was a mistake. Big mistake on my part. If this airplane right here was in this space here, 47, what is that? 4726, I think it is? No, 46720. If I had the airplane one space back, he wouldn't be able to rail past me. He'd have to move it. But, yeah, that was dumb on my part. Making too many mistakes. Okay, well, it's poor weather everywhere. We only just need to go get the army in position to actually invade. It is poor weather, so we do need to go try and... Actually, let's try it with this bomber. It's like he's got coverage everywhere. Minimal coverage is through the back door, but I can't get there because Vichy's in neutral. So this is probably not going to work very well. Confirm. We will go ahead and hit him once there, and we're going to hit him right away with jets. So that I'm a +1. And that puts him out of commission. Western Allies have to think. I'm not going to have a lot of American aircraft here. This American convoy is going to... I don't need escort. Moves to here. And then he's going to... I don't need escort. I actually shouldn't have moved the first French, should I? That was dumb. They don't belong there. Oh well, I'm just too stupid to know what I'm doing. No, I don't want to move him. I want to move the airplane. So we need to get fighter command. Fighter, naval transport. Use the American one, because I don't need the escort. Wait a minute, maybe I'm not going to do that. Let's do this a different way. Take the third convoy along with Force H. I'm going to here. Then we're going to take the third convoy along with Force H. Oh, no, no, undo. Undo. Now we'll take the airplane. Why didn't the third convoy get a... Okay. Third U.S. convoy. Oh, let Force H do that. Confirm escort. The naval path will be to here. To... Actually... No. Here. Here. And here. Confirm. So now it's poor weather. Do I really want to risk? My Italian fleet's at 3 sorties, so that means he's at -5. Surface action's at -1. Force H is at +2 for British, +1 for an aircraft carrier, and poor weather -2. So he's at +1 and I'd be at -1. Can I really stop him? I don't think so. I think I'm better off trying to mess with the guys in the Mediterranean somehow, but I just don't see... I think I want to save this for use against the Soviets, the German surface action. Because it's a +1 and the Soviets are a 0, so I'd have an advantage there, so... no, we're not going to intercept that. Confirm my naval path. And I'm just going to stay there. And then this one is going to be move the 7th Army by naval transport using this convoy and this guy for escort. So I've got pretty much, well, I could put him in Kharkiv. Oh, no, I put him in Edinburgh. Confirm that. Same logic. And then we're going to sail past him to get ourselves over by Cork. Same logic here. I don't stand a chance to really stop that. Because even if I put 2 sorties on him, he's just going to get him back. Nope, it's not worth my money. So now I have home fleet with the 1st American Army, Force H with the 1st French, and Patton has got the 12th aircraft carrier thing to carry him home. I have another infantry or armored unit here that I can move down to be able to get into France. And this convoy is going to stay there so he can pick up... isn't there another infantry unit? Oh yeah, there's an infantry unit that I'm going to build. So he's going to pick up this infantry unit and bring it into England next turn. And by having this guy in Edinburgh, I also threaten to come back and just go ahead and invade Norway anyway in the summer with my 3rd one. If I get lucky on my first 2, say I take Brest and Nantes with 2 invasions, and then use the third one like to go take Bergen, so now the Germans have to defend in 3 different directions or something like that. That's the general idea. Will it work? Probably not. Threats sometimes are better than actualities. And I do have the option, like if the Americans get cut off here and get whacked by the Italians, or I just decide to quit fighting over here, I can always take the first Canadian out and the Americans out. Yep, we're done. I do have another bomber, but he has, like, these guys are full. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can hit me twice there, and once on the way in, and still have all those guys back at full. And I will only have 3 sorties, 4 sorties, 6 sorties. If I move the bomber down an extra 1. 3, 4, 5, and 6 is 11, 12 sorties. Germans will have 18. Minus 3, they'll have 15. And I'll have used up at least 2 in my attacks. Oh, he's going to out-air force me. Because the fighter command can't do anything. Oh, this is very bad. Very, very bad. Very, very, very bad. Huh, I have to think about that one. Alright, yeah, we're going to say we're done. I'm going to hang on to that bomber. I'm not going to eliminate anything. Do this easy part. Okay. So, use the convoy. Go ahead and confirm the escort. Confirm the naval path. And again, because his convoy is so far down, both of these, he's got 5 sorties on this convoy, and he's got 6 sorties on this one. Even if I get through on 1 or 2 of these with like 6s, and the thing is it's fair weather down here, so I have a chance. But like this guy would be 0 to -1, and then -1 to 0, because it's +2 for convoy, or -2 for convoy, +2 for American. The French fleet would just, or the Italian fleet could only just add a sortie. Because then it would be at -4 and I couldn't hurt him. And the surface action I really want to save for if the Soviets try to pull off an invasion of Finland. Or some other invasion in the Baltic that I'm not seeing. So, no more. Let him go. This is an American convoy. It's currently at -1. Do I even bother? I'm not going to escort. I'm going to say, come get me. Why am I doing that? I'm trying to get him to commit this surface action, or these things. Smart German, most Germans would knee-jerk reaction and say, go get it! Not a good idea, because he still has 5 sorties down here, and only 3 more units to supply. So use up the surface action in this Italian fleet. This one's not threatened at all. So I will use the Italian fleet just to see if I can roll a 6. I'm not going to use submarines here. And I did not roll a 6, and I got, actually, the American convoy sank more ships than I even shot at. I could go in at a 0 and like run up his sorties, but at this point I don't think the Allies care. What do you do? Definitely I'm not going to use the surface action mark, because it belongs where it belongs. I could use a German aircraft just to run up his sorties. What the heck? Let's do it. Rang him up for 2. Okay. So now I could be at -1 to -1, and then -2 to a -1, and then my airplane would be done. I need to stay slightly ahead of him because I might need to pull that airplane away. So, no. I don't think... I think I'm done. I will escort this one. And the only reason why I didn't just say, oh, never mind, is I want to make sure that they use their fleets up. It's one of the advantages you have in the vassal game, is that you can verbally say, are you going to use fleets to escort? And as long as you say yeah, and you ring up your fleets to do the escorting, then the German player can say, okay, I won't intercept them as long as you use escorts. If you don't use escorts, I might intercept. And then you can just kind of go really fast. Can't do that in this game. Gotta do it the hard way. Alright, I guess we use the convoy here. Yeah, I was hoping to get away with not using that, but I'm going to go ahead and ring up my escorts. Let him go. It's doing it again. Just refuses to acknowledge that this is actually a port in his automated system. mean, when you do it by manual, it says, oh yeah, you can do that. But not when you have the automation things. The automated calculator can't seem to figure that out. I don't know why. Must be you must use that hex as part of the travel through the Suez or something, and so it doesn't register as an actual thing. Oh, I was supposed to. And I'm going to say I'm done with interceptions in space, so we can just get this done. Okay, and now we're on to the Soviets. And I am spending lots of time here. Not doing anything and not talking very much either. It's going to be a much longer video than I thought it would be. I didn't think I'd had that much to do, but oh my goodness. Well, we're going to do the obvious ones, right? Push the line as best we can. Here. Here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Minus 1 is plus 4. Because I want to do a 3 hex attack on this guy. So we're going to go here. Who's that? Is that the first air that's close to me? It's the first air in the north, so we'll use him. Confirm. He can throw in his tanks. Is tanks important here, or is tanks important in the south? I think the tanks might be more important in a southern attack somewhere. Oh, boy, that's a tough one. Because I'm thinking I might need to use the tanks on this garrison, just to slow him down. So this garrison's going to go out of supply if he takes this hex. Nope, I got to use him here. Garrison goes out of supply if he takes that hex. No effect. Okay, good thing I did that. All right. Because otherwise, if I'd only been... No, I guess I would have still pulled it off without it because I would have had a 6, but better safe than sorry. Okay, so now we're going to do this attack. 2, 3, 4, minus 2. Do I need to use any of my tanks here? I'm trying to think of where I'm going to use my tanks. I'm going to use a couple tanks here, and maybe a tank here in the south. Yeah, I'm going to use a tank here and 2 tanks here, so no tanks here. So we'll start with this guy. I'm at a net plus 2. I'm going to throw in... who's this? The third air. Confirm. Plus 3 to 0. And he's retreated. We had one place to retreat, and we'll send the shock army across. Okay, so I've reached the upper Dnieper. I've kind of reached the lower Duna. 1, 2, 3, minus 1, plus 2 to plus 2. Do I want to bother? Let's see how we do down here. So we've got a 3 hex attack here and a 3 hex attack on this, followed possibly by an extra attack from this guy. So let's do this attack first. I really, really want to take Kharkov. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Start with him. We're going to throw in 1 tank. And we're going to throw in the 5th air. 5th air. So I'm plus 5 to his plus 0. Hopefully I get something. I got a DD. Yay! I took a will point off the Germans, and we will take it with the shock army. Okay, so that lets me do this attack here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I'm not going to be able to get any kind of maneuver out of this. But we do want to push him back, right? We might get a DD here as well. Who knows? Or do we want to push on this side? That's an interesting thing to think about. Where am I down to? I'm down to 24. So I gotta save 15. Do I have anybody to build? No, I have to save 15. But if I went over here and went 1, 2, 3, 4. I could do shenanigans. Do I want to do some shenanigans? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we're going to do this first. See if this works. We're going to commit both our tanks to this. And an aircraft. So we're +4 to +2. And we do get a retreat. Now, the Germans have to make a decision here. If they retreat like you would think they would, which is to here, the armored unit's going to become isolated. If they retreat to here, the armored unit wouldn't be isolated, but he's still not going to be able to retreat. I don't think I want to give him an isolated armored unit. And then we're going to advance with this guy. So I can go in at 1, 2, 3. Oh, do I want it? Oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, I have to do that. I have to do that to give me the hex. So he's a +3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I could be 5, 6. +5 to +3, and no way to get to him. You've got more than enough points just to flip it back over. So committing to this assault was the wrong thing to do. Before I did the other one, I should have uncommitted this one. Okay. Hooey. Hooey, Dooey, and Louie. Alright, we're going to put Shock Army over here. Here. We're going to take this guy. Put him here. Going to here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with an airplane. So it's a 5 to a 3. So I'm not likely to get anywhere. So I'm going to need 3, 6, 9. I was going to do an assault up here. 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I'm just going to try to push this fin out. Alright, that'll be what I have to do. Alright, so we're going to go in here. We use this airplane. +5 to +3. That's all I can do. And no effect. And then we were going to do one more. This is a 1, 2, -3. -1 to -2. Is it even worth it? I don't think it's even worth it. I guess I can do this one. This should be a +2 to a +2. I'll do the northern one here. Shock Army is. So it's a +2, and then I can use this aircraft. So I'm a +3 to a +2. See if I get a retreat. I do. Germans are just going to go straight back. And we'll advance with the Shock Army. And there you are. So I kind of have one row of hexes in front of the demarcation line. Actually breached the upper Duna here. Got kind of one hex here. Got an armored unit that's kind of in trouble. And we've recaptured Kharkov, and we kind of pushed off the line a couple of spaces. But it's taken me, December, January, February, March, April, and May. It's taken me like 5 or 6 game turns just to gain those couple of hexes because of the weather. So the German defense was much more predicated on having all those severe weather turns where they wouldn't have to spend points to flip guys over, or maybe even someone would be retreated and someone else would be surrounded and unable to retreat and then get eliminated and things like that. None of that happened in the winter offensive here. Now in the summer, the Russians are going to make probably a really good push. I imagine that they will get all the way to somewhere in Romania and somewhere along this line up here, past the Duna, but not somewhere along the Bug is where I would like to keep them on the other side of this weather line. I don't know if I can, but that's what I'm going to try and do with the Axis, because then he has less fair weather turns in the fall turns. But it depends on what comes up in June. But I think I'm done with the Soviets because I have 1, 2, 3 airplanes. I only have, so I guess I could move. I could attack once more someplace. 1, 2, 3. +2 to +2. I still only have 3 airplanes to do, right? So that's probably worth it. So he's a 1, gets rid to 2, and we'll just run this guy up because he's in the back. And no effect. Okay, now we are done. Soviets are done. Not going to eliminate anything. Confirm. Supply all. I think everybody's in supply. Yes. Now voluntary elimination. I had to think about whether I wanted to just go ahead and eliminate some stuff. But now I don't think so. I thought I might have, depending on what the Allies did, I might have to like just get rid of an Italian Navy or something. But I think I'm just going to let it be. So, no, we're not going to eliminate anything. Turks spend 1 there. The Germans get their stuff back. The Italians have to make a decision. This fleet's up to 5. You can only bring it down to 3. This fleet's at 4. This is at 3. This one's all used up. So I could go 3, 6, 10 and let this airplane not be there. Not get reduced. Doesn't have anything on ports still. So I think I can get away with that. I'm going to go this convoy, and this fleet to try and keep people in supply for 1 more turn. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Probably not the right thing to do, but that's what we're going to do. Now for the easy part. Americans, 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 Americans. The British have 30 points. And nothing to build. Nope. So, British, 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 British. Oh, take that back. They don't have enough to do it all. Undo. Home fleet, and I think I'd rather do Force H. Home fleet's at 1. That's what I have to do. It's probably not going to be an invasion army anyway. He's probably going to be one of the... I mean, the invasion armies are probably going to be guys with the carriers. He's going to be a backup thing. Right? Alright. That's that. Soviets. Okay, save 9, specifically. Upgrades. Oh, man. I kind of sort of want to upgrade this guy here, but I don't really have an infantry I can afford to drop off the line to do that. I think I have to hold off. The line's just a little bit too long for me to shorten it by another infantry unit. I suppose I could take the guy from behind Leningrad if I wanted to put him like up here. Or I could take these 2 guys off and put 1 in there. I was thinking of putting 1 here, but I just don't think I can afford to do that. So I'm not going to upgrade this turn. The access. First we go to the Take. It still has a point left. Build this garrison. So he can move there, so I can build him in Smyrna. Saves me a strategic move. And then the para. Looks like things are going badly in the south, so I'm going to actually have to put the paratrooper on the road to southern Russia. First para. Elite Army. Okay. And of course the US just goes, look, a unit to put on the board. And we're done. Ta-da. Right. I left the option open for the West to declare war because I was thinking we've got poor in the Med. We've got fair in the warm zone, which means this part of Norway and France are fair. It's poor in the east. The Germans have had the greatest luck in weather. Oh my goodness. I can't remember how many severe turns we've had. I think it's been 4 out of 5. And then 2 pours on top of it in the summer of 44. So the Russians are only guaranteed getting 3 fair weather turns. July, August, September. The Germans have a chance here to possibly get themselves out of trouble. They'll have their extra strong infantry unit to help bolster up the Russian front. The Allies are faced with whether this is even doable, with the fact that there's 3 full-strength airplanes here, and this airplane can actually fly down to 2714, and if it had to, one more time, to give him something like 22 available sorties to my 3, 7, 10 American sorties. Maybe 11 if I bring down the 8th Air Force and don't use it for bomb. And we know it's going to be fair in July, so if I come across in June, we know it's going to be a fair weather turn for him to counterattack. He still has his surprise attack marker, still has his airdrop marker. It could be very, very ugly. So I am going to try to do the invasion, I think, of France. And then we'll just see how it all works out. Okay? I think I have to try and make sure all these German airplanes stay over here. I need to keep the German Air Force over here as much as possible, and the Italian Air Force in the Med as much as possible, so that the Soviet air can predominate when it finally gets a chance to. Because like last turn, it made a difference on grabbing a couple of these hexes. And the Germans actually have an infantry unit to rebuild, so they'll have another unit coming back into the east. Or into the west if I somehow manage to miraculously hold on there. Alright. Okay, so I think we are done for the day. I've talked way too much. And we are, I don't know, almost an hour, 20 minutes or something like that. So, yeah, it's been a while. More talk and less play is what I was doing rather than just playing through it and telling you what I'm doing. But I was trying to explain why I'm thinking of doing what I'm doing. Why the Italians defended this way is for this very reason. If the Americans don't make it to whichever one of these ports they go for, then now in the German turn, this thing's just going to walk behind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's going to walk down the rail line. This garrison unit will move over to Gabe's because he has nothing that can invade me except unless he wants to come in through Gibraltar. And if he wants to waste fleets moving to Gibraltar and doing an invasion of Tripoli at this point in June of 1944, please do. Because that's July, August, September, and October before he gets back the surprise attack marker. So any that he uses here in June, he's not going to get back until fall. And depending on the weather, that might mean that I'm going to hold out and end up winning this as the Axis instead of as the Allies. Alright? Okay. If you like what you see, hit the thumbs up button. If you really like what you see, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notify button. Be notified when I schedule another stream. May be a little while. I have sort of a wonky work schedule, so I try to figure out what day off I have that I'm not doing something else around the house and try to get another one of these things in. Next time around, we'll do June of 44. Give myself a little bit of time to try and figure out what I'm going to do with the Western Allies and how I'm going to try and prevent it with the Axis.
yeah, I think that is it. So until we meet again, stay safe.
And bye-bye.